David, let's come back onto the green agenda and the 20-mile-per-hour zones.
Yeah, so as you were discussing on Friday, 20-mile-an-hour zones have been introduced all across Wales, replacing the 30-mile-an-hour speed limits. This was announced by Lee Waters, the Deputy Minister for Climate Change. Not transport, no, climate change. Looking into the justification for this, we have Transport for Wales have issued a document, default 20-mile-an-hour speed limit on restricted roads, interim monitoring report. So let's find out what it's all about. Well, firstly, we see that the objective is to improve the well-being of the people in Wales. More on that story in a forthcoming article on UK Call. And specifically, they want to reduce injury and death. The number of pedestrians and cyclists killed or seriously injured, fair enough. They want to encourage a change in travel behaviour, away from private car to walking and cycling. And they want to reduce negative effects of vehicle use, i.e. carbon emissions, right? They mean CO2. And let's say CO2 is not a pollutant, but they're maintaining it as. And they want to maintain and improve local air quality. So that's what it's about. So they developed some key performance indicators. Oddly enough, public safety and reducing accidents and having fewer people killed or injured wasn't one of the key performance indicators, but some of the other things were. So how did they do? Well, in the trial areas, in the 20-mile-an-hour limit, they had 64% of cars were travelling at less than 24 miles per hour, although 45% had been before the change. The 85th percentile speed, which is what the speed limits were originally based on, it was reduced by a whopping 2.5 miles per hour. So a very slight reduction, at least initially after the change, in driver behaviour, but not a great deal. And local change to air quality, no material effect. So, in fact, some of the areas they measured got a little bit worse. So the justification seems very, very thin. It's clearly been driven by climate change and the need to change behaviour. It's not been driven by facts and evidence and data. People are realising this. There's a petition. 50,000 people in Wales have signed a petition calling for the default 20-mile-an-hour speed limit to be scrapped. And there has been some pushback in the manner of the Blade Runners and the ULEZ zone in London. This time the 20-mile-an-hour traffic signs are being destroyed or painted over, or people are getting sticky on number 3s and returning it to 30 miles an hour.
That's not the only thing that we're doing, but we'll maybe talk about that a little bit more in extra. So some of the inverted commas vandalism has been quite creative. But anyway, Debbie, Cornwall perhaps is the next area to be getting this.
Yeah, not to be outdone, Cornwall Council have approved the speed limit reduction to 20 miles an hour in more communities. So if anybody is coming to Cornwall, let's see where the regions have been the successful pilot. I'm not sure that the people of Penryn and all the other areas where it's been piloted would think that, but Falmouth, Penryn and Camelford have already changed across to 20 miles an hour. And coming up next year will be Hale, St Ives, St Austell, Newquay and St Column. So it looks as though we're going 20 miles an hour as well. So for anybody coming down, it's going to be a slow journey.
Indeed.